What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are well and warm, kicking it fly today, baby. Happy Thursday. What a day we have in store. Actually watching a little from the stash. We had Shane from My Grow on there, and it was an epic conversation. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Links below. But I want to talk about something very, very special today. Something that, in fairness, I don't really talk a whole lot about, and that's how to maximize your terpene profile and potency on your flowers for your next harvest. Now, of course, potency and terpenes are very different things. However, in order to obtain them or get them at their strongest, you have to practice a lot of the same techniques. So we're going to lump them together, and we're going to talk today how to maximize your terpene and potency for your next harvest. But before I do, I want to let you guys know about Stash Blend. I'm sure you've already heard about it, but Stash Blend is now a premium plant additive that you can get for your garden. It's got everything you need aside from your base nutrients. It's got silica, bacteria, beneficial bacteria, it's got your mycorrhizae, it's got just about everything you need. You supply the base, we've got everything else. Go to stashblend.com right now and grab yourself a bag today. The boys, Chris, Rob, and myself from the Stash are excited to be able to put this into your garden, and we think you're going to love the results. Go to stashblend.com and get yourself a bag today. So when you're talking about getting the maximum amount of potency or terpenes out of your plants, you have to start at the very beginning, because this starts before you even put a bean to dirt. You need to select genetics that speak to your terpene or potency profile. So are you looking for something that's heavy on the cognition high, something that's got the high THC, maybe something that's going to be able to help you focus a little bit? Do you want something that's going to help with your sleep? Or are you looking for something the exact opposite? You want something that keeps you awake. You want something that keeps you motivated and energized, maybe helps sprout and spring a little communication or conversation. These are things that you're going to want to do or look into before you start grabbing your genetics. Do a little bit of homework. Grab from reputable breeders genetics that you know that you're probably going to enjoy. Do you like gas? Get some gas. Do you enjoy fruit? Get some fruit. Do you not like the citrus kind of limonene profile? Don't get it. Try to avoid it. Genetic selection is number one when it comes to trying to get more terpenes and a higher potency out of your flower. Next is your environment. I said environment because I sounded out every syllable in that word. But nonetheless, you want to make sure you've got an environment that is sealed, something that's going to be self-contained. Grab yourself a great tent, something that's quality, it's been tested and true. AC Infinity has quality tents. You can go and check them out. Make sure that you've got it tested, your environment. Make sure that you've had it running so that you don't get any surprises in terms of the swing of heat when the lights come on, or the swing in cold when the lights go out, or any high or low humidity points that you need to take care of. Make sure your environment is tight before you start planting any genetics. It's very easy to run your tent for 2 or 3 days before you start planting anything so that you have a good idea of what's your VPD, what's your humidity, what's your temperature, when do your lights come on, when do they go off. If you're looking to maximize terpene production, you want a stable environment from the beginning to the end of grow. No high swings, no low swings are going to give you optimal terpene production. Now, lighting. Lighting is very important. I can't count how many times throughout my travels I've seen people that have tried to put a grow together and everything's tight except for their light. Tight except for their light. You need to make sure you've got a proper spectrum light, high quality diodes with a full spectrum matching your point in the grow. If you don't have a full spectrum light, make sure that you've got a spectrum that's going to be satisfactory for your grow. Blue for the veg, red for the flower. Okay? I choose Spider Farmer in my tent. I've had Spider Farmer as a sponsor of mine for a number of years. The light that I'm running in my tent right now is the SE7000. Perfect for a 4x4 flower tent or a 5x5 veg tent. Love the light. It's full spectrum. It's the only light that I'm going to use from the seedling stage to the harvesting stage. Don't need to change the light. I'll dim it up, I'll dim it down to match the intensity for the strength of these plants. But aside from that, this light has it all. And for full clarity, they are a sponsor of mine. And if you go to spider-farmer.com, you can use promo code PIGEONS420. You'll save a few dollars off at checkout. They've got quality budget lights. The SE7000 is one of them. I run between the 7000 and the 5000. There are a ton of great lights out there, but I can give you a head start if you check out spider-farmer.com. Lights are very important. I remember the days of using Blurple. I remember the days of using CFL. I remember the days of using high-intensity display, discharge. And all of those are insignificant to what you can get with the power of LED. It's easy to maintain the environment in terms of the temperature because they don't give off too much heat. It's easy and affordable in terms of trying to purchase a big quality light from the start. You can get a light like the SE7000 for about $600, $700. It's an incredible light. The SE5000 you can get for about $500. So the budget is there. So don't skip on lighting. Get the right spectrum to help produce quality terpenes. Of course, with any kind of growth or production, the food that you put in is incredibly important. It's no different than what we put into ourselves. Quality food leads to quality health, quality lifestyle. Same thing goes for your plants. You need a well-balanced, quality nutrient, whether organic or synthetic, to keep the plants producing quality terpenes the entire grow. Try to avoid overfeeding or over-fertilizing. By over-fertilizing, that can be damaging to the terpene production of your plant. Rather, keep consistent to ensure that the plant's getting the proper nutrient at the proper time throughout its entire growth. You can go online to whatever nutrient company it is that you're using, and you can find a nutrient chart that'll go from seedling to the flower stage. Use that chart as a guide. And you can manipulate it up or down, plus or negative, as you see fit, as your garden and your plants respond to that input. So grab some quality nutrients. There's a ton of them out there. Just make sure you're getting quality nutrients. We are past the day of using Miracle-Gro. You can use Miracle-Gro, but you don't need Miracle-Gro. You can get better results for even less with the right product. In the same way that you're going to practice proper feeding practices, you also need to ensure that you're practicing proper watering practices. You don't want to over or underwater at any given time because this can have a negative impact on the terpene profile. You don't want to flood out the roots. You don't want any unwanted stress. Feeding and watering go hand in hand. Try to ensure that you find a good watering schedule to meet your needs and translate that to the plants. Now, trying to time your harvest can be one of the harder things to do because what I like and what you like are going to be vastly different. Generally speaking, you're going to want to harvest your plants when the trichomes are at their peak development, when they are approximately, or a majority of a milky trichome with a slight, say, amber touch to about 10% of them, or to your desired effect. If you're looking for something that's maybe a little more sedative or a little more laid back, you may be going or waiting for a more mature trichome. If you're looking for something with the peak potency or terpene profile, then you're going to want to ensure that you're getting that when the trichomes are at their most developed and they're most ripe. And that's when the majority of them are milky. You can monitor the trichomes using today a cell phone. Cell phones today with cameras on them have the ability to get incredible picture. Used to use a jeweler's loupe, used to use a magnifying glass. You can use really anything, but a phone these days works perfect. Take a picture, zoom in, and you can see just about every single trichome on that plant. So harvest appropriately at the right time. So you've harvested, you've got them drying, but now, in my opinion, is the most crucial when it comes to preserving those terpenes, because now, as you're drying, those terpenes are just evaporating. They're going into the environment, and the more that go into your nose are the less that are staying on that plant. So timing your dry stage is very important. You have to know your environment. Generally speaking, the longer the dry, the better. But there's a cap to that because you don't want to exceed too long where you might face mold or bacteria or bugs or so on and so forth in your garden. You want to make sure that you are getting somewhere anywhere between that 5 and 15 day dry. If you can get in there, generally speaking, you have retained the majority of your terpenes, and the trichomes are still quite potent. But now you've got to put them into a container for long-term storage. That's the part that gets tricky. If your plants dried too fast and they smell like hay or they've got that kind of bunk smell to it, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that will not go away. It won't get better. You can smoke good weed that tastes like ass, unfortunately, but that taste is there to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. So keep in mind that when you are drying, you don't want it to be too fast, but then you want to also get it into the jar or into your storage container at the right time as well. When those buds are, say moist in the middle, but crunchy on the outside. And it all comes down to your burping and curing. Keep vigilant for quality control. When you're burping and curing, you want to make sure that your humidity does not exceed 70%. After 70%, mold generally takes place, especially in such a tight container with such high humidity. If it's, you can pop a hydrometer. I often call those, I mix that up actually. I think it's a hygrometer. Hygrometer? Yeah, I call it the wrong word. You want to put one of those humidity meters inside the jar. Gives you a good idea. There is a plus minus to that, but stay vigilant when it comes to your curing stage so that you don't have any issues with mold or excess moisture and such. So maximize your terpenes by staying vigilant and ensuring that the moisture level does not exceed 70%. That's why you're going to be burping sometimes twice a day for the first little while, then once a day, a couple times a week, once a month, so on and so forth. Hopefully this conversation helped steer you in the right direction of maximizing your terpene profile and getting the most potency out of your flowers. I want to hear from you. Are you a first-time gardener? Have you been doing this for a while? Do you still struggle with the harvest stage or the curing stage or the drying stage? Because I can tell you, it gets tricky, particularly when life gets involved and you have a hard time getting downstairs into the garden and finding time to dedicate to the plants. Do you have that issue or have you dialed it in? If you see somebody in the comment section that's having some issues, please feel free to help them out and give them a little guidance. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your faces. I will see you real soon. And in fact, for the 4 of you that stuck around this far, I appreciate your face. There's going to be now a Wednesday night live show taking place on this channel every single week. Still tossing around whether it's going to be Wednesdays and Sundays. So for right now, Wednesdays for sure, and Sundays are tentative. But if you want to tune in, it's this channel, 9 p.m. Central on Wednesday nights. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.